real events, and told in the most honest way. The roar of a Tyrannosaurus Rex echoing through a misty jungle is a sound ingrained in our collective imagination, a thrilling nightmare brought to life on the silver screen. For decades, the idea of walking among dinosaurs has been the stuff of science fiction, a cinematic fantasy powered by ember-preserved DNA and a healthy dose of hubris. But what if that fantasy is slowly, meticulously becoming a scientific possibility? How close are we in the real world to bringing back the colossal predators of a bygone era? This isn't just about movies anymore. It's about a revolutionary field known as and its focus is increasingly turning towards the very titans that once ruled the earth. The discussion is no longer confined to fantastical it is now a tangible debate grounded in real-world scientific advancements that are pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible, forcing us to ask not just could we, but should we? The dream of a real Jurassic world, with all its awe and terror, is being assembled. Not in a fictional lab on a remote island, but in the most advanced genetic research facilities on our planet today. The key that could unlock this ancient world is not the fossilized mosquito. While dinosaurs capture the imagination, the more immediate and realistic target list for de-extinction features predators from a more recent epoch. These are the giants of the Ice Age, creatures whose DNA is far more accessible and whose ecological context is better understood. At the top of this list is the woolly mammoth. The company Colossal Biosciences is actively using CRISPR to edit the DNA of Asian elephants, their closest living relatives, with the goal of creating a cold-resistant, functional mammoth-like creature. Their aim is not just to resurrect an icon, but to reintroduce it to the Siberian and North American tundra, hoping its grazing habits could help restore the ancient grasslands and combat permafrost melt. Another tantalizing candidate is the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon fatali. Its living relatives, like the African lion, could serve as a genetic template and even a potential surrogate mother. However, resurrecting these large, complex predators presents challenges far beyond those faced with the piranha. It's not just about getting the DNA right. It's about recreating the intricate developmental pathways, the complex hormonal balances, and the instinctual behaviors that made them apex predators. A mammoth calf would need a herd to teach it how to survive. A saber-toothed cub would need a mother to teach it how to hunt. To address this, scientists are exploring the concept of editing for rewild. This involves not just reviving an ancient animal, but carefully tailoring its genetic code for survival in a modern environment. A resurrected mammoth might be edited for resistance to modern diseases, or a revived predator might have its territorial instincts slightly tempered to coexist within a designated wildlife preserve, ensuring it can thrive without immediately disrupting the 21st century world it would be born into. The prospect of herds of mammoths once again roaming the tundra, or the shadow of a great cat falling over the plains, raises profound ecological questions. On one hand, the potential positive impacts are enormous. De-extinction could be a powerful tool for conservation, restoring lost ecological niches and enriching ecosystems that have been diminished by human activity. The return of large herbivores like the mammoth could revitalize grassland ecosystems, which are incredibly efficient at sequestering carbon, thereby helping to mitigate climate change. Reintroducing a keystone predator could, in theory, rebalance a food web, controlling overpopulated species and increasing overall biodiversity. Much like the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park transformed its landscape for the better. However, the risks are equally monumental. We would be introducing a new apex predator or a massive herbivore into ecosystems that have adapted to their absence for thousands of years. The potential for them to become invasive species on a scale we have never witnessed is terrifyingly real. Imagine a resurrected predator with no natural fear of humans or modern infrastructure, or a creature whose ancient dietary needs decimate a plant species that is now critical for modern wildlife. The unintended consequences could cascade through the environment in unpredictable and potentially catastrophic ways. We can draw parallels to current invasive species issues like the Burmese pythons, devastating the Florida Everglades, or rabbits overrunning Australia, but the scale and power of a resurrected megafauna predator would amplify those problems, exponentially creating an ecological ripple effect that we may not be able to control once it begins. Beyond the scientific hurdles and ecological gambles lies a deep ethical chasm. In pursuing the extinction, are we playing God, arrogantly rewriting the book of life for our own curiosity and ambition? Or are we, as the species responsible for the current sixth mass extinction, simply righting a wrong, using our intelligence to restore the biodiversity we have carelessly destroyed? There are no easy answers. The very act of choosing which species to bring back is fraught with bias. Do we choose the majestic mammoth and saber-tooth because they are charismatic, while ignoring the thousands of less glamorous insects, amphibians, and plants that have vanished? Who gets to make that decision? Furthermore, what is our responsibility to the creatures we create? A resurrected animal would not be a theme park attraction. It would be a living, feeling being. We have an ethical obligation to ensure it does not suffer, that it can live a full life in a suitable environment. Is it fair to birth an animal into a world it is not adapted for? A world filled with 7 billion humans, endless highways, and a climate it has never known. These creatures could face new diseases, confused instincts, and a profound sense of displacement. The conversation ultimately forces us to confront our own role on this planet. It is a profound test, pitting our soaring scientific ambition against a necessary ecological humility. As we stand on the precipice of this new genetic frontier, we must ask ourselves if we are simply continuing a long history of manipulating nature for our own ends, or if we have finally gained the wisdom to act as responsible stewards of the past, the present, and the future of life on Earth. Real events, and told in the most honest way.